Every investor knows on some level that they're chasing financial peace of mind. What they don't know is that there's three critical pieces that all have to come together to make that possible. We're going to discuss what those are and which one might be missing for you this week. So as I said, there are three big components that need to come together to get you the type of peace of mind that you or your loved ones are looking for. We're going to cover what those are and when one's missing, what it looks like to hopefully help you identify for yourself or others how we can help get you to that place of financial peace of mind. The first one is purpose. This is your why. Why are we saving this money? Why are we taking the time to build this plan? It's literally and figuratively an investment for everyone, and it only makes sense if it's helping get you to a specific place. And so these again are goals such as, hey, I want more time with my family, or I'd like the ability to make a career change. It could be time for your health. It's not necessarily about how much money you do or don't have. It's the reasons you're hoping to have the money, which is again is simply a tool to live the life. It's the means, not the ends. And so this is really focusing on what are those ends. When you're living that life that you want to live, what are those things? This is something we love to walk through with clients. The second one is the plan. Look, it's like a lot of things where you got to sit down. It takes a little bit of time. A lot of people don't want to know what they're spending. We've seen a myriad of different excuses for why this doesn't get done. But again, if this is where we want to go, this is the roadmap to help get us there. And so you can have a ton of gas in your tank and know where you're going to go. If you don't have a map, that's a problem. So this is that map. Again, a critical piece to understanding the trade-offs that need to be made to get you where you want to go and make those decisions on a conscious level, not a subconscious, to not find yourself having to say, oh, if I'd only known, I would have done that differently. We want to help define that in advance. The third piece is the portfolio. This is the obvious one. It's the one that has been, of course, most classically handled by the industry. For everyone, it's never enough, right? We all wish we had a little bit more money. But what happens here is when you really understand your plan and your purpose, you may find out you're actually on track. Or no, this simple little trade-off can help get you where you want to go. But defining, again, most commonly what type of portfolio you need, what that allocation is going to look like, not because of just some market view, but because of your personal story is really what we want to focus on with this third piece. So now some quick stories about when one of these is missing. People have usually got together to focus on one. They talk about all their dreams quite commonly. They're focused on their stock portfolio every day and what the market's done on a given day, or maybe they're obsessive planners. It's rare that we find people who have been able to bring all three together. So what we're going to talk about today is kind of what it looks like when one of them is missing and maybe at least the other two are in place. So when purpose is missing, we've seen so many people come through. They've got a lot of money. They may have built out at some point in time some semblance of a plan. But the quote we hear time and time again is, it just doesn't feel quite right. And the reason it doesn't feel quite right is they've never really defined what that place is that they're trying to get to. And so they're still, again, focused off the means of maybe just a little bit more money. They're thinking about this plan and focusing on budgeting and really perhaps being even over the top in terms of how much they're saving without having given proper attention to, what is this, when you arrive at this place that you're hoping to get to, what does it actually look like? And as much as I think we all think we have an idea of that, and certainly do to some extent, it's rarely been called out in a formal conversation where real goals have been set, where real trade-offs have had to been discussed. And so this is one of the most commonly missing pieces for people, but again, the one that can tie these two things together. And if tough planning trade-offs need to be made, or maybe a little bit more volatility needs to be accepted, you now know why you're making those decisions. When you arrive at that destination, you're aware of it because you know the destination, not just that you're constantly trying to travel along that financial path. Second piece is planning. We've talked about this at length. And quite simply, it's most often avoided for two big reasons. Number one is people just don't want to put in the time. It does take a little bit of time to sit down, really figure out what you're spending, what you would like to do, what that might cost, and taking time to come in and really build that out with a professional such as ourselves. and then an ongoing monitoring, which is really the piece we're there for. Most plans, as you may have heard, and if you haven't, you should have, are out of date the day they're done, right? So you set your course, but the weather's going to change. We're going to need to adapt that. That's really why we're coming alongside of you, is not to just set it, but to keep it going. The second one is avoidance. A lot of people know that what their goals are. I want to pay for my kids' college education. I want to retire by a certain age. I want to have a second home down in the desert. And they know that they're not saving enough money to get there. They don't want a plan that's going to hold them accountable to what that is. And again, you live your life how you want to live your life. The question we really just try to help people with is, are these whys of tomorrow bigger than some of the things you're doing today? And should those trade-offs be made? The third big piece that can be missing is the portfolio. This isn't just about saving too much. The area I really want to focus on today is helping people know when they can take less or need to take more risk, i.e. or accept volatility within their portfolio. So one of the common things we do, particularly with savers, is we see people who've got a big portfolio. They've amassed quite a bit of money. They've done that. Maybe they're meticulous planners and they've got their purpose. What they don't understand about the portfolio piece is that they actually don't need to be taking as much risk as they are. Maybe they don't have that kind of risk appetite in the first place. Maybe taking that much risk actually puts the plan and their purpose at risk. And so quite commonly we'll sit down with people and say, you're allocated like this. This is great. This is great. Why are you taking as much risk here as you are? They thought it was because they had to. And when we explain, no, you can actually take far less risk, you can see that burden in its own respect come off their back, knowing, okay, so to be able to enjoy these things, I'm not going to have as many of those gut-wrenching moments in terms of market volatility. Conversely, we have to deal with a lot of people who are very risk averse. You've been holding a lot of cash. Maybe they've been very conservatively allocated into CDs or treasuries or other types of investments. And what they need to understand is if this is that important to you and this is the path to get there, we may need to take a little bit more risk. We don't do anything cavalierly here at 10 Capital, but there are times where, again, people on some level know that, hey, I know I probably shouldn't have this much cash. What they haven't connected, again, is how it fits to the why. You're not just doing this to do this. You're not doing this to be like anybody else. You're doing this because it's what's necessary to get you where you want to go. So wrap it up there. Again, purpose. Why are we doing what we're going to do? Where are we going? The plan is how are we going to get there? And again, that portfolio is that gas in the tank of this car to get us to our destination. They all three have to come together and maintained. That's what we love to do for so many of you. If any of you out there feel like one of these needs to be better addressed for you, or you've got a friend or loved one who you think could benefit by a little bit more defining of one of these goals, we're here anytime. As always, thanks for watching.